Okay, Mike Frueh has the dubious distinction of being the final panelist of the evening. Welcome from the Veterans Administration.
I'll make everyone happy as I'll be brief. To give you some perspective, there's about 117 million homes in America right now, of which 70 million have mortgages. Now, of those 70 million, about 15 million are underwater. In other words, they owe more on their home than their homes actually were. And of those 15 or so million, about 5 million are in foreclosure. And one thing the Mortgage Association did in 2005 was try to address a concern that they had now, which is a huge concern today, is how can we contact our delinquent borrowers and get them to respond to us? What they found is they write letters, you're in danger of losing your home, please call us, and no one called. And they did a survey in 2005, and 60% of the respondents said that they didn't know there's any way they can save their home. They thought that letter was basically the beginning of the end, and nothing they could do could prevent it. They redid that survey last month, and the number 60% dropped to 52% after the last year and a half of constant press and constant litigation efforts to help the crisis, and efforts that FHA and the government have done to let people know that you can keep their home. Now, what we found at VA is, as a third-party advocate for veterans who have guaranteed loans through our program, we have a very, very high success rate of working out delinquencies with veteran borrowers and their banks. We found that people in a process of foreclosure are, one, very scared, and two, very skeptical of the bank's willingness to help them. And part of that's a deserved reputation from the banks, but part of it is just a lack of understanding of what options are available to help people keep their homes once they get behind. Now, what we heard in the last panel is when you get a notice of delinquency or notice of intent to foreclose, you don't want to wait. And I can't magnify that sentiment enough, because one payment behind is something that is manageable to catch up. 2 or 3 payments you can catch up. When you're a year behind, it's almost impossible to make up 12 mortgage payments or even more. What we've done at VA this past year, after we started in 44, we're a little younger than HUD, but what we've set up from the very beginning of the program was counselors nationwide who would advocate for veteran borrowers who had guaranteed loans, contact the servicer, contact the borrowers, gather all the financial information, and present a plan to the servicers, which almost 100% of the time they take, as long as we have good information and we can contact the borrowers. Borrowers that we can't contact, there's not much we can do to help, because we don't know what their particular situation is. And the servicers and the mortgage industry has the same exact problem. Now, up until last year, we didn't require servicers to tell us anything about delinquent borrowers until they were already 4 payments behind. And as I said, the larger the delinquency, the harder it is to resolve. We changed that this year. We completely changed our regulations on the VA loan side, and we're seeing it echoed in all across the other parts of the mortgage industry. We want servicers and borrowers to attack the problem at the beginning. When they have a missed payment, or even if they don't have a missed payment, but they know that something's going to happen that's going to prevent them from making a payment, we want them to call us or contact their servicer. And we're instructing the servicers for all of the 2 million VA guaranteed loans that they have to contact borrowers and at least make efforts to contact. They can't tell whether someone's home or whether someone's having their children answer the phone saying that they're not home. But we do instruct them that they have to make the effort to contact, and they have all sorts of tools at their disposal that we have as well to help borrowers that are delinquent. And it's the same tools that exist on the other loan programs outside of VA, things like repayment plans, forbearance, where you can wait until you can have a time in the future, like you're anticipating a tax refund. Wait until that comes to make your payment. You can talk to your servicers about that. You can modify the terms of your loan. If you can't keep your home, which it happens in many cases when their borrower either doesn't want to keep the house or just doesn't have an income based on their circumstances to keep the home that they live in, there's other ways to get out of the home besides foreclosure. You could pursue a deed in lieu of foreclosure or a short sale. And all of these were talked about before, but they're all very viable options. At VA alone, and we're 2% of the mortgage market, so we have, you can extrapolate from that what it means to the market. But we do about 1,000 loan mods a month that resolve delinquencies for veterans that are facing foreclosure. You modify their loan, and by the terms of the new loan, they're immediately current. We do about half that much repay plans. Unfortunately, there's some that don't keep their home, but pursuing a deed in lieu of foreclosure, which you might have heard is mailing in your keys, or sometimes servicers even pay for it. They'll give you money to find a new living arrangement. Depending on where you are, it could be anywhere from $500 to several $1,000s, but it's cheaper for them than pursuing a foreclosure. I think several people have said before, and I know from all of our talking with servicers in the industry, foreclosures are very, very expensive for the banks. None of them want to own property, and they're all owning a lot of property. So this last year has been, the crisis has at least heightened the anxiety at the banks and their willingness to work with borrowers. And if you keep those options in mind when you do get notices from the servicers and you do contact them, or if you're nervous about calling them, call someone like the Hope Now Alliance or other counselors that HUD has out there, or the different state agencies have out there that you heard from today. They're all there to help you get over that hurdle of talking with the servicers and resolving your delinquency.
Thank you very much.